things are getting a little out of hand.
Oh, you think?
So I have a few curveballs at the beginning, like I like to do with everything, with all my interviews. But I'm going to start with the most important question right up front. What was it like for you playing an actor on Barry in season 2, episode 7?
Oh my God, that's a good one. It was humbling. I mean, I told myself going into it, oh, I'm gonna try to do this to be a little more empathetic with actors, but I became a kind of stereotype of a needy actor because I was very nervous about it. As usual, you have to wait in the trailer. I only had 3 or 4 lines. I was pretty sure I was going to forget them, and afterwards I was like, "How was it? Was I okay? Was I, like, what do you think?" And so it was even more of what I was trying to do was like, acting is hard, and even playing yourself, which maybe even harder than trying to make up a character. I was in that vulnerable place, and it's one of the things I love about the risks actors are willing to take is it's challenging.
100. I could never be an actor. I like the whole anyway. But yeah. Also, you got to be on an awesome show, so congrats on that.
That was pretty great to be able to do a scene with Bill Hader. I was like, wow, that'd be amazing.
Next thing I wanted to ask you about, I want to go back in time a little bit with Austin Powers, which is a lot of people won't realize that was your second movie. It did well, but it wasn't like some huge hit when it first came out. When did you first realize, oh, wait a minute, this is like people really love this movie?
Yeah, it did. In previews, we were worried about it, and we weren't ever really sure until it came out on video. It did pretty well on its first release, but when it came out on video, it exploded because it was one of the first DVDs. Warner Brothers started up a DVD around that time. And then it did well on tape too. But then the time I really thought, okay, I guess we're part of something was when the second one opened. People showed up in costume on opening night, and there were a lot of Austins and Dr. Evils running around and Mrs. Kensingtons. And I was, around the block. So I guess that's when we finally thought, okay, I guess people really are not just the number of them, but the level of intensity of their connection to it was nice.
I read, and I really want to know what's true. I read that before, when you were making the first one, that you and Mike were thinking about Jim Carrey as Dr. Evil. Was that actually true, or is that like just one of those BS rumors?
I think that's a rumor because Michael was always going to be Dr. Evil. And thank God he was, because I love Jim Carrey, but Mike was, as Austin, is pretty amazing, but there's a little more of Mike in Austin, whereas Dr. Evil is some whole other concoction that he channels, and when he's doing that, he becomes his improv thing kicks into another level of lucidity. When he does that scene with Carrie Fisher in the therapy in the first scene, and he starts talking about luge lessons and Chloe with the web feet, and his father invented the question mark. He's just riffing, it's just going and going, and watching him to sort of become somebody else in that character is one of my favorite things. I always thought if we did a fourth one, we should just focus on Dr. Evil.
That's my last thing before I jump into the why I get to talk to you, which is, do you think Austin Powers 4 actually happens, or do you think no?
It's always up to Mike. No, I think there's a real possibility. If we always just said, if we have the hook and the new predicament and the new situation that can, we got pretty far with Beyonce and Michael Caine and that whole the Dr. Evil submarine on the last one. Like, we have to top that. We can't just come back and just do it to do it. So if Mike finds that, I'm there.
Jumping into The Roses. First of all, congrats on the movie, and thank you for making me laugh many times through the years, but especially on this. But why was now the right time to sort of reimagine this story for a modern audience?
It was all about the cast for me, that it all came together in an amazing way, because Benedict and Olivia had been working on it. I got to know Benedict. I got to know Tony a short time later, and all of us just seemed to, sort of gel at the same time. They already had the script. I wasn't sure it was ever be the right time to remake a film that was so beloved and really freaking funny. Danny DeVito is one of my favorite directors. Yeah, I love his tone. I worked with him as an actor. He played Mini-Me in Austin 3. But when I got the script, and I was such a fan of The Greats, that the TV show he did on Hulu, as well as his films too, but he just added some other layers of relatability and sort of authenticity to the way the couple related to each other. And I also identified with Americans who don't get British humor. To watch Benedict and Olivia as both actors, but also in character, be that funny and that fast is intimidating. And the Americans in the story really, really embarrass themselves by trying to imitate them. And I loved that. So it was more just all came together, and it was literally an irresistible package. There was nothing else I wanted to do once I read it.
So I'm fascinated by the editing process because, it's really where it comes together. So how did this film possibly change in the editing room in ways you didn't expect? And did you end up with a lot of deleted scenes?
We don't have a lot of deleted scenes. I have a really great editor, John Pohl, and a great team behind him. What changed the most was the beginning. It used to start sort of more sort of softer and more just romantic comedy. And then we had faith that we would just build from that and get worse and worse as the story went on. But when I saw the therapy scene, the great Belinda Bromilow, who's Tony McNamara's wife, actually, plays the therapist, and how sort of enjoyable it was to watch them say horrible things about each other, but then end up laughing, cracking each other up so that they get each other way more than the therapist who's supposed to be trying to get them. We thought that sort of set a tone for the whole movie, and why not just start with part of that? Just start with that to say, this is going to be a little, it's going to be romantic, but it's going to get there. It's going to get out there, and so be ready for some outrageous, communication.
I'm already out of time. I'm just going to say, thank you for all the years of everything you've made, and good luck with the rest of your speed dating.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. I love the shirt. That's a great shirt.
You can't go wrong with Arnold's.